Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear respected brothers, sisters, elders, and children. Today's topic is, are we true to Islam? I would like to discuss three general topics before the main one. These are just my views, and it is up to you if you agree or not with them. So the first topic is on stealing. That is stealing that we convince ourselves that it's not. I remember when I used to go to Argos for shopping and fill in the order form with a little pen they had. And like most people, what did I do? Put the pen in my pocket, thinking everyone does it, so it's okay. But was it okay? Not really, as it belonged to Argos, not me. So I was really stealing it. I remember how I was punished almost immediately. I was a driving instructor, and as soon as I came out of the shop, I got a phone call or a text saying my student had cancelled the driving lesson. Sometimes I got to the car and I had a flat tire or a light bulb fused. So something always went wrong immediately after that incident. So for a 5p pen, I lost over £20 and earned guna as well. So how many of you bring stuff from where you work or offices thinking it's okay? How many of you take personal photocopies from work or school to take home without the company's permission? There are many of these incidents that we are all guilty of, and we all will be punished for it. How would you like it if someone came to your property and took something without your permission? So remember, stealing is stealing, no matter how little it is. If it does not belong to you, then don't take it. Simple as that. What are your views on this? My second topic is on having guests in your home. Let's say you have come to visit me and are sitting in the lounge. I bring food for you and put it on the table. And then I go back to the kitchen for more food and drinks. So while I'm gone to get it, what do? You start to help yourself and start to eat the food which you know I got for you to eat. Now the food that you ate has become guna for you. Why, you may ask? Well, the main important thing, which is what our Islam teaches us, is that you didn't wait for my permission. So that's also same as stealing, even though it's for you, but you must wait for me to say, yes, you can start to eat. Then even if I go to get more, you got permission, so it's not a problem. My third topic is on telling children off without an explanation. I hold my hand up to being guilty of that. When my children were young, a long time ago, just like many parents, I used to tell them off when they did something wrong according to me. I used to shout at them, "Oi, stop it," or "don't do that," etc. So naturally, what did the children do? Next time, they did it again, as they didn't like being told off, so it was a war between me and them. So the advice I'm going to give you now is the advice that I didn't follow then. The best way is to sit them down and without shouting, explain to them as to why they should not do that. Explain the dangers or problems by doing that and point out what's the best options for it. So if they understand what they are doing is wrong or dangerous, then they should stop on their own accord. This also can apply to grown-ups as well. So I've just briefly touched on these three topics and would like to finish off with an advice I was given by my father many times of how true are we to Islam, which we sometimes keep forgetting and following the wrong path. So this final topic we will call Little Eye, Big Eye. I was listening to a majlis in Bradford in the evening, which finished around 9 p.m. I was sitting behind a pillar, and then I heard the organizers discussing on who should drop the Maulana Sahib off to London. No one was volunteering, and they asked this young man if he could take him. And the young man was feeling with mixed emotions, as he really didn't want to be in the car for over 4 hours with a Mulana. I slowly got up to walk in the opposite direction, but he saw me and almost shouted like he had just won the lottery. He said to them, he can take him, as he's going to London anyway. That's when I felt like I had lost the whole world and I couldn't get out of it. So he clenched my arm and yanked me to the organizer and said with a babyish face if I wouldn't mind taking the Mulana with me, as I was alone anyway. His happiness was sky high, while my sadness was rock bottom. So I said, yes, sure, no problem, while in my heart I was shouting, no, no, no. So the Mulana smiled and started to walk with me. Then there were so many thoughts racing through my mind. What if the Maulana asked me what I thought of his majlis that he had recited? How could I tell him that I had slept through it mainly, as I normally used to do at many majlises? Yet I never felt sleepy at parties or weddings. That was totally different. What if he asked me any Islamic questions? Still, I had no choice and had to think of a fast answer as and when he asked me. I told him to wait at the door as the car was parked far away and I would bring it here. So when I got to the car, I was panicking as I took out my very shiny top of the range latest songs CD out of the CD player. And then frantically I searched the whole dashboard trying to find a very dusty old Noah CD. I remembered I put in the car last Muharram. Luckily, I found it and wiped the dust off it and put it in reluctantly in the CD player and prayed that it would work. Thank God it did. My plan was to turn the sound up and put the heating on full high so that hopefully the Mulana would fall asleep, not disturb me about too much topics on Islam. I got to the front where the Mulana was waiting and I got out to say goodbye to the organizers, and the young man was so happy to say goodbye and thanking me for saving him a journey and hugged me so tightly his smile was bigger than the whole town. Then we started the journey and I was very surprised that the Mulana was talking to me general just like any other person and did not talk about Islam stuff. But I was still worried as he could any time. So I made sure the heating stayed high and turned the Noah sound up a little more. Also, I speeded up the car more so we could reach London in less time. I think the Maulana Sahib could sense my uneasiness as he probably had been in this situation many times. So thankfully, after a while, he went to sleep, but I kept speeding all the way. Just as we reached London, he woke up and smiled. Not long to go now, he said. It was now 1 a.m. at night and all the roads were empty. I was on a dual carriageway and the lights went red, so braked hard to stop before the line. I said sorry to the Maulana Sahib as he got thrown forward a little. He said, that's fine, but why did I stop as there was no one about, and as in Pakistan you just ignore the red light etc. and went right through it. Now I felt sky high happy that I was about to tell him and explain to the Maulana Sahib about the red light. So I pointed to the red light with my little finger and said, do you see that red light? Yes, he said, I can see it, so what? I pointed a bit higher and said, do you see the little eye above the red light? He replied, yes. I said with a big smile on my face, well, that little eye is the camera through which the police can see me, and if I do anything wrong, they will catch and punish me. I would even get points for jumping the red lights, etc. I felt really proud on explaining all that to him as if he didn't know anything about it. Then in the 5-hour journey I had made, He was about to demolish me in 5 minutes without me realizing. As he was quiet, I thought I had won a great battle. And then he spoke very gently, but oh my God, that was too much. And it was about to change my entire lifestyle, and also reminded me that what my father used to advise me was also the same as what Maulana Sahib then went on to say. He pointed at the little camera that I had told him about and said, "Do you see the little eye?" I was a little puzzled, and thoughts were racing through my mind, but I managed to reply yes. Well, he pointed a bit higher and said, "Look," and then pointed more higher and said, "Look," and then pointed very high towards the clouds. "Do you see the big eye watching you? That's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, big eye, which watches you everywhere and sees everything that you are doing, thinking, good or bad." I very slowly managed to reply in a squeaky voice, "Yes." "Well, you are worried about the little eye, which is not important at all, and yet you are not worried about the big eye, which is the most important part of your existence in this world and will decide on your future and the next life according to your actions." These 5 minutes got me thinking so much, and my head was spinning so fast, as I knew both him and my father were 100% right, and I had to change myself by 99%, as deeply down I was doing everything wrong. So please, I would like you to also deeply think when you are alone at how much you are following the right path and how much the wrong path. See which is higher in power, and you will know which direction to take. And remember, we do not know how much time we got left to get it right. Please do remember me and others in your du'as. And always remember, happy moments, praise Allah. Difficult moments, seek Allah. Quiet moments, worship Allah. Painful moments, trust Allah. Moment by moment, thank Allah. Khuda Hafiz.